Another silly thing you can do is to wait for 2 years for your orchid to bloom, and when it does produce a flower spike, you are not careful and you manage to break some buds and break the tip of the spike, like I did with this one. She was very sick. I tended to her as best as I could, and now look what I did. I broke the flower spike and 1 bud, and she is left with 4 buds. So yeah, just be careful when you have a Phalaenopsis in spike or any other orchid in spike. Try to place them somewhere where you're not going to hit them with the window or with your hand, because it's frustrating to wait so much and then just to break the spike off. Another thing about this one, she was sick as well. She didn't have roots, and for 1 year I overpotted her and pretty much didn't provide any air to the roots, so she didn't evolve. She really didn't evolve at all. But this year in January I repotted her properly, and look at those roots. She's really healthy. But yeah, I broke the flower spike. Another thing you can do is to actually not repot your orchid in time. It happened to me. I sometimes do it by mistake because I don't see the signs, but you have to repot your orchids if you see something wrong, a sap. You have to check the roots. I have this Oncidium since January or February, and if you can't believe it, this pseudobulb used to be plump and beautiful, and it produced a flower spike, and I thought everything was okay. But at some point it started to get really shriveled, and I repotted it, and what I discovered was a very mushy and full of sphagnum moss medium, even though on the top there was bark. In the bottom there was sphagnum moss. So what that did was to rot each and every root it had, even the tips, the brand new tips. And now she's putting very fine small roots, but in the pot actually there's nothing. And what this did was to actually almost kill off another bulb it has here in the back. If you see that one there, that was a new bulb, and it used to look very pretty, and I was expecting a flower spike. But now I will take my mind off it, because in this condition it cannot bloom. So yeah, just check the medium. Sometimes it's way better. Another common thing we tend to do when we're repotting Oncidiums or intergenerics or any other orchid that has pseudobulbs is to pot it with the pseudobulbs way too deep in the soil. When you're repotting Oncidium, you really have to place the pseudobulb on top of the soil, because if you place it any deeper, that part that is in the soil will really go mushy like this and will really rot. Now, I got to my Oncidiums in time, so I don't have a proper Oncidium to show you with this kind of damage, but this is a bulb that I got from my Bellara orchid, and I'm trying to see if I can propagate anything from it. But this bulb was planted way too deep in the soil, and as you can see, it rotted. So be sure that when you're repotting the Oncidiums, you put the pseudobulbs on top of the soil like this, and don't go any deeper than this.